one quick question. So the segment intending, I have just sat down to meditate and been in the receptive mode every morning or gotten there, but I haven't segment intended before it or in the middle of the day.
Here's the advantage of segment intending. This all falls under the heading of getting out ahead of it, because as we were just discussing, if you wait until you've got negative momentum going, which is what a belief and a perpetuation of a unwanted expectation is, if that's underway and you try to turn it, it almost never turns. It can if we have an hour together, but it almost never turns. It usually just causes you to practice the resistance more. So what we've been saying is, if you get out ahead of it, and there are two primary ways to get out ahead of things. Meditate, that gets you out ahead of it. And then when you're walking into a segment, stop. Esther has been carrying a notebook with her, and she's writing 30 or 40 or 50 segments a day, which doesn't take very long. Most segments don't take her more than a minute. And sometimes when she goes back to read it, she can't even read her writing because she's writing so fast. But it caused her to focus as she was at the airport yesterday, getting ready for a flight. She took out her book and wrote something to the effect of, I really look forward to this flight. I'm going to really enjoy the beautiful humanity that surrounds me. I'm eager to notice the positive aspects of those that I focus upon. I love the feeling of appreciation of the efficiency of this airline. I really like seeing efficiency and excellence. And so she got on the airplane, and while she's sitting there, all of that's happening. There are nice people everywhere, and she's just sort of not minding her own business, just sort of watching them. And it was lovely to see. And then suddenly a flight attendant came. Esther could feel her coming from the back of the airplane fast. Da 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 da. And so Esther didn't look back, she just waited, and as she went by, Esther could feel a focus within this flight attendant, and she went right into the cockpit and got the captain, and they both did back down the aisle. And Esther thought, that's that efficiency and focus that I was talking about. There they are. That's that excellence. And there was something going on in the back of the plane that was going to cause a delay, but because they stopped the boarding, it was a bit of a delay, but not very much. And Esther's sort of smiling because either she sensed it coming or she made the mess in the back. She's not sure which it was. But in either case, she got to witness really over-the-top efficiency of a flight attendant and a responsive captain. And so while that was happening, a girl sitting in front of her and a girl sitting across from her and another girl sitting over there, now they've all got their heads together in a sort of powwow, and they're saying, what do you think's going on? Nobody knows, can't see what's going on. And then a girl who was back there came down the aisle walking her baby, and they all said, what's going on? And then one of the girls said, this is the most fun I've had all week long. Where have you guys been? And Esther said, I know. Where do you guys live? They all lived in the city Esther was departing from. Esther said, let's exchange numbers. We should play together more often. Really, really. In other words, they were all just up for it. No one was worried about anything. There was no tension in the air, just this playfulness. And Esther could not help but notice that. The things that she had written, this is the first time that she has ever written the words, enjoy the beauty of the humanity that surrounds me. And there they all were. Enjoy the efficiency and excellence of this airline. And there it all was. Esther's not saying she created all of that, although she was a part of it. What she's saying is she had her ears on in the forest. There wasn't a vibration going on that she wasn't tuned to. She had her dial tuned for that. And what she was tuned for is what she was experiencing. Everybody in the airplane didn't experience the fun that Esther experienced. You see what we're getting at? Segment intending. Segment intending puts you in a place of realizing the power of your own directed thought. The difference between segment intending and meditating is a quieting of your mind to listen. Segment intending is you thinking about what you're thinking about. So here's the thing. Only segment intend when you know you're already under the influence. Don't try to fix something with your segment intending. Decide that you're going to derive pleasure from the segment that you're walking into. So if you were to look back at Esther's notebook, she's got a stack of notebooks from the last 3 weeks. She fills up a notebook almost every day. Skinny little thing, but she still fills it up. Almost every sentence starts with, I love, or I feel, or I appreciate. In other words, it's from an emotional basis of wanting to feel good that she is setting her awareness in motion. And then you know what happens? As it happens, you're tuned in. She might even be receiving what she's writing. Who knows? We do. She might even be receiving it. But then as it plays out, her satisfaction factor is enormous. It begins to make you feel, the word invincible could be the right word, but it's not the word we want you to focus on. It makes you feel so loved, so listened to, so noticed, so important, so worthy, so much an important part of the unfolding of everything around you, you see. At last, you are realizing your own power, your own value, your own being. At last is a little bit what you were reaching for. I'm finally where I want to be and not where I don't want to be. And so at last is one of those tricky focuses that could go wonky, but isn't in this case. At last, here I am in this now. At last, isn't at last, when you think about it literally, isn't at last right now? At last is now. And so instead of at last, now I'm tuned in, tapped in, turned on. So satisfied with what is and so eager for what's coming. Not afraid of what's coming, not worried about how it's going to come, not worried about where and when and who and how, just knowing it's coming and eager for the unfolding. Like a movie that I know I'm going to feel great as I watch it. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Yes. We just want to play with you just a little bit. This is the being in the forest without your ears. Because if you think about it, we've got you, we're pointing at you, and if you're ready, you want to just be ready. But now we've scared all of you because we've whack-a-moled you. And so now you're afraid to stand up for fear it might not be you this time. But you've been standing every time, but you've been surrounded by others and we couldn't separate it out. And so we're going to give it another go here. Still the one we're pointing at is reluctant to stand. Now, what's that about? No. We didn't pick anybody yet. No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Now, did you really feel bad for her? Then you've heard nothing from us. There's not a reason in the world to feel bad. What this is demonstrating is, are you ready? Your inner being is calling you, and you want to be a cooperative component. And what makes you reluctant? What makes you reluctant? Past experience. Past experience. In other words, Abraham pointed over there. They embarrassed this one and this one and this one and this one, even to the point that the whole audience is groaning. Oh, we're having such a terrible time here. This is sort of how it works, because you know how we find you? You've got a question that is pointed within you, and it's a good one, and it's a good one for the conversation that's going on here. And you're at a point of particular readiness to receive it. Really, you just don't quite know that you are. And so we find you because you light up in a unique way. So when we point in that direction, put your arms down because it's not any of you. Oh, that might be a good way to do it. All right, so it was one of you who had your arm up. But it wasn't most of you who had your arm up. So if you think it might have been you, put your arm up. All right, you just put your arm up reluctantly at the last moment, so your arm is up. Now everyone put your arms down. Ah, that arm stayed up longer than the others, so now stand up if you think it's you. This is really worth talking about. This is really worth talking about. I want something that I'm not letting in. And why am I not letting it in? Because there are so many things to consider. Now it's almost impossible to get there. It's not you. Well, then you finally just stood up. You want to start walking this way? No? No? Yeah? All right, there we go. Now, nothing went wrong there. You're not in trouble. But it is worth thinking about. What is it that that experience clarifies? I'm in the spotlight with others. I want it to be me. My inner being wanted it to be me so stubbornly that my inner being didn't give up until it was me, even though a whole lot of stuff went on that seemed unimportant to the whole of things. My inner being was so aware of me and would not stop pointing until the connection happened. And because of other things going on, a lot of them not anything that had to do with you, just a lot of other people popping up around who also wanted it to be them. But that's the thing that we want you to take away from this, is that we were going to get you. We were going to get you, even though it hurt the audience's feelings, it embarrassed a lot of other people. In other words, this is something that you wanted, and we knew that you wanted, and we wanted it, and it was a mutual thing. And so here we are, and we think it was worth it. Do you?
I definitely think it was worth it.
She thinks it's worth it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you for...
Oh, we've used all your time.
Oh, jeez.